So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Team sheet tantrum for Aston Villa versus LEGIA WARSAW, and let's get straight into it. As with any of these European nights, we come right when the team sheet has been announced, and look who it is. Look, we're exactly the same. Look, anybody who's new to this, just get with the program. Me and Alex Moreno look exactly the same. We're twins. We're brothers from another mother. But a massively changed team, which is something I didn't see coming, but probably should have, given the fact that he's changed the team an awful lot during European games. There's going to be a couple of people who won't be happy with the first name on the team sheet there. Robin Olsen, Matty Cash, Ezri Konsa, Longley, and the returning Alex Moreno. Great to see him out there again. John McGinn, Kamara, Douglas Luiz and Tielemans make up that midfield, which is nice and rock solid, with the Abbey playing just behind John Duran up front. So quite a lot of change. I noticed, I haven't opened up the comments just yet, but I'd imagine, we don't need to win this game by two goals. But if we win this game by 2 goals, we can coast into the match against Mostar next week. So I still think this team is good enough to go out. We're playing at home. We've got people on the bench that we can call upon here, and I'm gonna go through these in a moment. But there is one glaring omission from the bench. We have Emi Martinez is on the bench, Philip Marshall, Diego Carlos, Dina, Pau Torres, Chambers, Zaniolo, Bailey, Dendonker, and Jacob Ramsey. So no Ollie Watkins in the squad at all. So I suppose that's probably the one area where I think you have that's the big surprise. We have John Duran up front. We have probably Zaniolo who comes on to be the next striker up. But yeah, still, look, we've got a squad for a reason. And let's see if today ends up being the day whereby we can rotate and have a coherent performance. Saying that, I think the biggest thing here is that, the coherency that we see, or the drop off in coherency that we see when the team has changed to this degree. It'd be interesting to see if that does happen again tonight, playing at home. I'm sure there's a Mr. Patrick Kelly that's going to be in the stands tonight that won't be happy if there's a drop off in consistency and coherency this evening. But look, as I say, look, this is the team, and all the amount of giving out and roaring and shouting that we'll do here ain't going to change it. Unfortunately, I have sent Paddy the link to jump on, but he is at the game tonight. He is in and around the ground, so there's a potentially can't get Wi-Fi, and that's okay too. But if he can come and join us for sure. Yeah, so look, it's not the team I expected. I don't think it's the team many people here expected. But I suppose Longley being in there isn't a surprise in the cold light of day, considering he's played every Europa Conference game. I'm open to correction on that. The midfield 4 is very, very strong, and that's where they really got hold of us last time. Callum Chambers, I think, as well was in it right back, and it didn't really work for us the last time we played these guys. But that midfield 4 is very, very strong. And then obviously, I'd be expecting Diaby to get back to form tonight. A couple of people have mentioned, he hasn't really lit it up in the last couple of games, and he's not been to the degree that he was at the start of the season when I thought that he hit the ground running and he was really good. But tonight's a night like any other to try and get your gander up and play under the lights of Villa Park in front of the home crowd is going to be something that he should be up for. And in this game, in the European game, I don't doubt that he will be. Good to see John Duran in there. It's really strange, how I suppose like there was a rumor that went around that John Duran was a trouble. He was a problem child. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how false that is. But the immediate something, not everybody I know for sure, but the immediacy of social media to accept that as a given and not to accept it as a potential, not to accept it as bullshit is huge. And he's on the field today, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. And there's another man here who I'm looking forward to see what he can do as well. Paddy Kelly is joining us from. Oh, I've tried to add him, but it doesn't seem to be showing up here on the stream. Paddy, can you hear me? I'll remove you again. I'll try and add you again. Uh, I don't know. Can you hear me, Paddy? Yep, he's here. I'm gonna. I think he's got dodgy internet connection. There we go. There's Paddy. Paddy, how's things?
Hello. Things are fine. Just the internet connection is very, very poor. So
Yeah.
I don't know how long I'll last. But yeah, we're all there's a little bit of a lull in the pub here when everybody saw the first name on that team sheet. But look, what can we do? We know Martinez had an injury last weekend. Maybe this is a carryover from that. So we've just got to take it as what it is. But apart from that, the rest of the team I think is exciting, and I think it's good enough to go and beat them. But
Yep.
I worry about us sitting a bit deeper just to protect Robin Olsen. But anyway, other than that, everything is hunky dory.
Well, I think the fact that Watkins isn't even on the bench, Paddy, it's probably just just time off for him, maybe. But he's not somebody we can afford to lose. But would that mean to you that Zaniolo would be the man to come on there, given that Bailey and Ramsey are both on the bench? You'd imagine Ramsey would take that left-sided role and Bailey take that right-sided role.
You'd have to think so. And then when Duran runs his game, that's Zaniolo through the middle. That's what I took from it anyway. But look, it's a strong team. And it's great to see Alex Moreno back in that team. We had the conspiracy theory this morning where I said to you, maybe we need that extra game to get us an extra 600,000 in February. But I really hope we go and do it today, because there's a lot of people here who spent a lot of money to come here. So
yeah,
it would be nice. It would be nice to go and win the game. And
I don't think there's okay, everybody. Look, I think sometimes we can be hyperbolic about Robin Olsen. Look, he's nowhere near Emi Martinez, and yes, he's let in some clangers or whatever. But look, it's up to the other 10 players in front of him to keep the ball away from him. I suppose that's my view of it at this moment in time. We don't have any other sub goalkeeper. It's not like we can just pull one out of a hat between now and the 1st of January. So for me, like, the days of just going all in on him are gone. We just have to hope that he's not the weakest link, and he's not the chain that breaks the link, or the link that breaks the chain. There's Triple Truth Root who's asking here, no Tim tonight. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Tim was registered, because we didn't have enough homegrown players. We couldn't name 4. I think somewhere along the line, we had to take 2 players off our list, as in we weren't able to. We have named the list for these games that's 2 players short of everybody else in the group, because we didn't have 4 home-based players that were trained at the club. Yada yada yada. Tim doesn't fit into that category because he's only 2 years at the club, 3 years at the club, should I say? And I think he doesn't fit into that category because of the time he spent at West Brom. And I think something along those lines were that he wasn't on the list. I could be wrong on that. But I remember making this and saying this before as well. Oh, there's no Tim. And then I remember someone saying it in the comments and checking it up and going, oh yeah, that's why he isn't there. So yeah, I think that might be why Tim isn't there. But yeah, look, it's Paddy. You're one of the lucky 45,000 that's going to be in Villa Park today. We mentioned beforehand that there was going to be bones of 1,500 ticketless Warsaw fans coming to the game. Have you come across any of them? Have you seen? Have you been around the ground since earlier on today? What's the atmosphere like?
I'm currently in the Aston. I'm not staying here, but our good friend Ronan is staying here, and I met some Polish fellas there. They have no tickets, and they've just headed off into town to watch the match because they didn't feel it was appropriate to stay here full of Villa fans and piss people off, which was nice of them. But we met somebody else who was just come run the gauntlet up Whitman Lane, and apparently it's not it's standoffish, but there's nothing that's kicked off or anything like that. But look, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but you have to trust the law enforcement that have decided that that's the amount that they can put into the stadium and safely do it. But there's police everywhere, absolutely everywhere. I've never seen the city police the way it is. So obviously they're being overprotective, and they need to be, because obviously you've got 1,500 people, potentially 1,500 people walking the streets here, looking for somewhere to watch the match, and that's the worrying thing.
Yeah, and look, as I say, we're not. It's like no one's baying for it or anything like that, but it's just worth mentioning as well, because it was a bit of a talking point on social media.
Yeah.
Between their fans and between, I suppose, between our fans as well. Now, Paddy, we do have a LEGIA Warsaw team here as well. Couple of changes. Well, actually, here's me going, oh yeah, a couple of changes from the last time. I can't remember who played the last time, but what I do know is 36-year-old playing at the centre of defence there. The former Polish, or current Polish international, I suppose, because he's not retired. That man, Jedrzejczyk, 41 caps for Poland. He's in there. Capuadi is in there as well. I think he played the first day as well. And Pankov. I suppose really looking at the lads up top, they've got the Spaniard Marcoal. He's only, well, he signed this year for them, but he's played it. He came up through Barcelona's academy, played with Sevilla B. Actually, he would have been at Sevilla when. Yes, I think he would have just signed for Sevilla when Emi Martinez was, or Unai Emery was there. So maybe he does know an awful lot about him. Spent a lot of time in the lower leagues in Spain. Moved to Ukrainian football, and then onto Polish football. Oh, we lost Paddy there. And last season he scored 19 goals in 38 games. By far his best season ever in professional football. And he's got 1 goal in 2 games. But he's a former Spanish under-21 international. Marcoal up there as well, only 27 years of age. And he's flanked by Mucci, the guy who scored the goal against us last week, the last time, the young fella, very, very industrious player there. And also the Josue, his other partner in crime up there at the top. I'm just trying to pick him up here. He's Portuguese. Yeah, I was trying to make sure that was him, but there he is with the captain's armband. Portuguese player, 33 years of age, and definitely one of their talismans since he joined the club in 2021. So they've come. They're looking for goals. They're playing 3 up top, and they're 3 dangerous frontmen that they have there. Albeit, I think we should be able to marshal them. And I think we're set up differently than we were the first day, because, as I mentioned, the first day in the preview, I mentioned the first day that they were able to get at us with changing, swapping the sides of play very, very quickly and getting it out wide to the opposite flank quicker than we were able to adjust in that game, and that really caused havoc with us. Like in the first game, remember, we were Luca Digne wonder goal, and if I'm not mistaken, was it not the John Duran header that got us to 2-2, and then obviously they won the game 3-2. So we didn't show up in Poland, and we don't want to be in the situation where we don't show up again tonight, because, as I say, even though we don't have our first choice goalkeeper or our first choice striker, it's still a game that we should go out there. We should be looking to win, and we should be looking to put on a coherent and decent performance for certain, I think, today. Let's go to some of your comments first. I forgot to say, this will be a bit of a shorter one today, maybe only about 20 minutes. After this, if you want to stay in here, you'll be automatically directed towards Dale AVFC Statos watch along as well. But before that happens, I'm going to come to some of your comments, and if you guys want to start popping in your score predictions there, we'll get to them in a moment. Rob Henry says a lot of faith put in Durant tonight. Yeah, well, I think he has put a lot of faith in him in European competition this season as well. You know, against Hibs, he started a game. I'm 90% certain he started the opener against Legia. And you know, he's played quite a lot in this competition as well. Jonathan says, trust in Unai. He knows who needs a rest and who needs minutes, and that's for sure. I suppose Emery or Martinez being potentially injured or carrying a small knock is probably why he's not playing today. And at the end of the day, the team we have going out here is good enough to progress within this competition. And also, we do still have another eye on Bournemouth at the weekend, given our lofty league position. So I'm not wholly surprised by the rotation here of players either. Andy Brogan says it makes sense for Ollie to be rested. He covers some ground. That's true. And also, he went away on international break as well. So, he didn't actually have much time off during that period of time. So maybe that's something in the thinking here as well as to why he's not not in the team sheet tonight, or he's not in the traveling party tonight. Well, sorry, it doesn't make sorry there. A lot of it's funny sometimes when you're going down through the comments, you can see you're not sure whether a question is directed at another person in the comments or whether it's directed at me or Paddy. So that's why sometimes I scan down through the comments to make sure that the question was actually directed to us. But Matt Hand says, just looking at this, very interesting. Glad to see Moreno, but a little surprised to see Duran. Yeah, I think, look, Moreno is definitely the plus point from this team sheet. I'm really interested to see how he plays. I'm really interested to see if that turn of pace is still there. I don't doubt that it is. I'm really interested to see how our overall adaptation or our overall transitioning of the ball happens now that we don't have the stand and deliver in Luca Dean that we've had. That, and in fairness to Luca Dean, he's been an absolutely superb outlet. Maybe playing him with the John Duran is probably the smarter bet tonight. But sometimes we speak as if Alex Moreno can't cross a ball either. We know he can cross a ball, but we also know he definitely can get to the byline. And I'm hoping that we can do that today. I'm hoping we can do that at will against this three at the back. Maybe if we've John Duran is able to drag one of the centre halves out, keep the 36-year-old Polish international in there, and Diaby can get a run on him as well. But one of the surest ways to do that is to have a fullback who can get to the byline, or even just has that extra dimension of carrying the ball, so that a centre forward can drag a centre half of a three out to maybe take the ball to feet, or at least have the illusion of taking the ball to feet, so you can create crossing runs then with the rest of the other centre halves. That's one of the things with playing a back three that you have to be really disciplined with as well, because you do have you will be given a detail whereby you will be able to go to the sideline. So if you're in a back three, most sane managers will give you a detail, will give the outside backs and the outside centre halves a detail whereby they can go to the sideline if needed. When you're a back four, the two obviously stay closer. It's basic. It's very basic stuff. But what that means is that if a striker can drag one of the outside centre halves, and then you've got somebody like a support striker, like a Diaby here, running across the other two, it can cause consternation a lot easier than it can if you've only got two centre halves, because there's less of a pass-off situation, or there's less of a zonal situation, and there's less of a having to wait and see who's going to take him. So from a back three point of view, the communication needs to be absolutely bang on. And it'll be interesting to see how we can maneuver those guys around the field today. And I think we should be able to. And I think we should be able to get some good matchups. Like a 36-year-old against Diaby, no matter. And there's 36-year-olds out there that are well able to run and still haven't lost a drop of pace. But none of them will be able to stand up to the pace of Diaby. So I think we should run at and run towards and run off their most experienced centre back. And that's not to say he's poor, because he's certainly a good player. But what it is to say is that sometimes you got to hammer the hammer. I've said it before. Last year when Villa played Newcastle towards the end of the season, they went at Kieran Trippier for the whole 90 minutes. They just went at him, didn't give him a minute's peace, and they had an absolutely brilliant result out of it, and a brilliant game, and a really complete performance. And sometimes you got to do that. You got to just take on. You got to more or less knock on the door and say, "Send out your best fighter," And maybe that's what Villa do tonight. And I hope it's what Villa do tonight under lights in front of the Villa Park faithful. So that would be something that I hope we see later on today. Where else are we? Thank you very much to Matthew here. I love the podcast. Watch them all. I'll have a pint or maybe a hot bovril in this weather. Thanks so much, Matthew. I really appreciate it. Are we? Have you guys got some of your scores in there? I'm going to get your scores. Has the scores been coming in? Very few scores. Oh, I'm just scrolled past a couple of them there. So we're going to start off. Anwar says 2-0 to Villa with Diaby and Duran. C Line I says 3-1 Villa. Saruna Emery is going for 2-2. Captain Nuggets going for 3-1. Tristram is going for 4-2. David Stiles is going for 2-0, please, barman. Andy Brogan says 2-1 with Duran and Kanza. Dave Bond's going for 5-1. And John Griffin going for 3-0 with Duran and Yuri and JJ. Renewed thinks 2-all. So does David Dwyer, and Paul Miller goes with 2-1 with a nervous last 10 minutes. Audrey is going for 2-0 with Duran and Luis to score. 3-0, I think Richard is going for with Duran, Diaby, and a Luis penalty. And Dico Blanco is going for 3-1. And Paddy's going to score a 90th minute bullet header from the Trinity. How will he get over there from the Holt end? Well, we'll see. Stranger things have happened. British Mick, good to see you. British Mick is going with a 2-1 to Villa here, and Dusty's going with 3-1 to Villa. Michael Huggins is going for 2-1. Stephen Wright is going for 1-0, and Pete Tandy's going for 3-0. Steve is going for 2-0. Triple True Root is going 1-0 with an Olsen 95th minute header. Yeah, we'd love to see that, wouldn't we? I think that would go a long way. Where else have we got for more scores? I'm just going to scroll down here. Yeah, Brody Pierce is going for 3-1. Melty is going for 2-0. Mick Ducati 3-0. Greedo 3-0. Danny H 2-1 to Villa. 2-1 to Villa again for Dream Villain. 4-1 says Liam Meredith. And Anne is going with 2-0. After managing to connect us to the car radio. Michael McCarthy Smith is going for 2-1. Ed McNeil is going for 3-0. And I think I saw Ed say that he was outside the ground at the moment, and it was beginning to fill up. T-Lai is going with 3-0 with just a cash hat trick. I'm okay with that. Ernest Lansdale is going with 3-1. Colin Sloan 4-1. Rachel is going for 2-1. Blake 4-1. Jake Aston Villa going for 3-1 as well. Gaz Williams is going for 2-0. Western Wood is going 3-1 Villa. Jaffet Russell says a Bailey double. I presume that's 2-0 we're going with there. Really Random Review says 3-1. Damien L says 2-0. Andy Munro says a fun 4-0. Gerald Kerwin says 3-1 Villa. Mr. Brito says 96. Mr. Brito says 96. Mr. Burrito's 96 says 4-2. Junior says 2-0. And Neil Dunworth is going to say, I'm going to say 3-1 tonight. I'm going to say 3-1. Just because I want to see goals and I want to see a bit of fun. Jason Dowling says 7-2. Daniel Donnelly says 2-1. Christie says 3-0. Kevin Price says 2-0. Yeah, look, as I say, I just remembered something. I remembered after we won. Sorry, not specifically, completely the opposite. Let me go back, put my teeth back in, and start this story again. I remember after we lost this game, I remember a lot of people were asking why we did the team sheet tantrum and why we do team sheet tantrums in general. And obviously there are people who've joined us new, which is fantastic. And any new person who joins, welcome. You're more than welcome. Always keep coming back. We love to have as many voices as we possibly can in the chat room. But I remember two people in particular. One person was asking me why we did this. It was a waste of time. Everybody would be at the ground. And I think there was a failure to understand how many people are at home, or maybe in different countries, or maybe not able to make it, or maybe childcare reasons, or after work reasons, or people watching it in work, or like Anne O'Grady connecting to the car. That was one of them. But then another one was, why do we do it? Because they always turn into an overly positive session. And we could go in and lose. And the reason I'm bringing this up here is that there's always a possibility we might lose a game. But today means an awful lot to the club. It means an awful lot to the club. And Unai Emery has been ballsy throughout this whole competition in the rotation of the team, and the rotation of the squad, and the rotation of the players, and always putting a rabbit out of his hat with regards to his selection. And while we're all very, very confident today, I think we're right to be confident today. And I think that we're right to be expectant. And I think that at home against any team in Europe, considering what Aston Villa are doing this year, I think we should be hopeful and we should be expectant. I think we should be proud, and I think we should puff our chests out. And I think, with the lights on in Villa Park, that we should always be expecting a win. So I'm glad to see, not that it's any different than any other day, but I'm glad to see that there are some good results in there. There's some nice positive results in there as well. But as I say, I just wanted to acknowledge that any team can lose on any given day, but that doesn't mean that we're disrespectful as always. But that we shouldn't be respectful to the other team as always. But I just really, 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 really think that Aston Villa have it together for tonight. Given that we're down one or two players in particular, in Martinez and Watkins, I'm still really looking forward to seeing this and hoping that the guys get a result out of it tonight. So thanks very much, everybody. Thanks for. Oh yeah, Andrew Monroe says never stop. It's part of my build-up routine. No, we're not going anywhere. But listen, thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. I am going to leave you on that note. We will be back with a final whistle podcast right on the stroke of full time. In the meantime, this will throw you straight over to Dale's stream for AVFC Status stream. You're going to. I think I saw him in the chat room there a moment ago. So thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back again in the stroke of full time. Enjoy the game. Here's to an Aston Villa win against Legia Warsaw under lights tonight, and hopefully Aston Villa can do that and put us into the last 16 of the Europa Conference League, because God knows, a great European nights don't come around half enough in Aston Villa or in Villa Park, and hopefully we go out and we make a statement win tonight under those lights in front of the fans. Thanks very much, everybody. Going to see you later. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up to Villa.